Say some things that might be usable for the intro. Let's do that.
Say the podcast name. Say our names. And then share what we think it is. Welcome to It's Happening for You.
For you. Is this
clear,
even the song we want to start our podcast with?
This is It's Happening for You, the podcast with Robin Meharry and
Stephanie Lentini. We love you.
Love you. And then the music begins.
Hi.
We made it.
We made it. Hey, you got a haircut. Look at you.
I did. I got a haircut and I dyed it myself. I actually dyed it myself yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. I just wanted to have that kind of dramatic dark look because I think I might be going blonde again soon.
What?
But I'm really
I just wanted to go black so that I could go blonde.
Exactly. I mean, come on, one last hurrah. But I do like it. It's like a dramatic,
before the mandatory blonde phase.
Mandatory.
So what else do you want to talk about? What else? You said you have so many things you want to say.
I mean, it was just as soon as I started to tune into what I wanted to talk about and share, it was I felt like there was so much. But when you just said that, what came through is I'm reading slowly because I just read it a couple of pages before going to sleep every night, but is The Communion of Light.
This book that I always have next to me.
Spinning Shrines of Gold. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it was chapter 5 I just finished last night. Pretty sure. And it was just all about it was all about the concept of deciding, basically. And that I don't know how exactly he phrased it or whatnot. Again, no new information here. Yeah. However, it hit me before I was going to sleep. I had this moment of oh my gosh, it can be that easy. It is that easy. Just deciding. I think the beginning of the chapter, he basically says we know that you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah. This is chapter 5 is called There's Nothing That's Limiting Your Ability to Create.
Yes, I think that's it.
It starts with there's no doubt at all, at least within us, that you are capable of anything that you decide you are capable of creating, becoming, having, or doing. There really is no limit to what it is that you can conceive of. And whatever it is that you can conceive of is something that you can actually experience, have, do, or be. Isn't this the page I flipped to and read from?
Randomly? I don't remember. Maybe. That's insane if it is.
I feel like it is.
It might be. Now that you said that, maybe that's why it hit again, because I was hearing it a second time and not really realizing it.
Well, that would be absolutely wild. But okay, go on with what was occurring to you before bed.
Well, it was just basically what you just read of, once you decide.
Yes.
And just decide. I love this word decide. It has a final,
a definitiveness.
Definitive. Yes, exactly. It just is and so it is. It's yes, I've decided. So it is.
Yes.
And with that, it just feels because they talk in that chapter about the how, that we release the how, we decide, and then every perfect, and every perfect step comes to us.
Yes. Unfolds. As we follow, especially as we follow what feels better.
Yes. Follow our guidance of what feels better. Each
next better thought, next better action, etc. I like that they say, and it doesn't mean it's going to feel good. especially if you're sort of not in a great feeling place, the thing that feels better doesn't necessarily feel good, but it feels
Yes.
better.
Oh, that's a
And it
really good distinction to make.
Yes, and they really emphasize that you'll know when you're following your intuition, as they call it, or what feels better, because you'll feel a marked feeling of relief.
Yeah.
It's relief that's the indication that you're in alignment with who you really are, which
Mm.
I'm like, wow, okay.
Yes.
Because you're feeling better and better, and relief always like starts
Oh,
that. Go ahead.
okay. But this also then comes back to what you sent me. The
I was
little
I wrote it down here because I was like,
perfect.
yeah. Okay, go
I've
ahead.
listened to it several times because I just like the first part of it, when they're talking about like the star and how light works and how we process seeing light
Wait, tell
and
me what I sent
colors.
you, because I was thinking about something else I sent you. What did I send
Oh,
you?
how funny. Okay, so this one is like the first part of it. Okay,
Yeah.
let me try it now. Is kind of what I was just talking about, how they were talking about contrast. But
Uh-huh.
then the second part, but it was going into how our all of our like true desires
Mm.
are rooted, or if you take it back to the source, it's unconditional love.
Yes, we're expanding we
Yes.
are unconditional love. We are here expanding unconditional love, and the way in which we're doing that, the
Yes.
vehicle through which we're expanding it, is our desires, through
Our
our desires
desires.
very specifically.
Yes. Chills. Yeah.
So as
I just
you
think that's so great.
acknowledge and allow yourself to have the desire, you're expanding the entire universe.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I like there was something that felt connected to what you just said about the feeling like the next better or best step, feeling relief,
Mhm.
also feels connected to your desire,
Mhm.
because that's like the stepping stones, right? If you are clear on your desire
Mhm.
and have decided on that
Mhm.
and it's unfolding, then like even that kind of like sense of relief,
Mm.
I feel like there's a connection to the feeling being of love,
Mm.
like kind of almost like settling into that unconditional love space within us.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm speaking as it like came through, but it was just like as you were saying that, that felt connected in some way.
Yeah. I was just on a call right before you and I got together, and I was talking with someone else who's really getting into this work, and she was saying like, "Oh, I kind of feel like I've been in this like spacey, floaty sort of place recently and lately, and I feel like it's kind of I can attribute it to my mind being blown so much, like consistently over like in the last week or 2 weeks, that like it's not fully clear how this looks in
Mhm.
integration or application, but what it's doing is it's like expanding my mind to what's possible.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, it literally feels like my brain is blasted into a zillion pieces. And I'm like wanting to be like, I want to tell you what I'm discovering, or as they would say,
Remembering.
remembering.
Yep.
Yes. Like, I want to tell you this thing that's so resonant with me that like I'm remembering now. But then, like, frequently I'll just like run out of words, and I'm like, where was that? It's like this kind of, just this space where you're like, oh, I have so many ideas, but then like to put it all together still feels like it's a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and the picture isn't quite clear, or like you're just working on the edges right now. I don't know how to describe it, but you're still muted. I can't hear you. But that's sort of
Yes.
how it feels.
Totally. I feel, I mean, because I'm going, are you caught up with like the course, the versioning, all the
No,
calls? Okay,
no.
me either. So I'm like going through that, and I've been listening to it the first couple while I've been doing other things. So I haven't been
Mhm.
able to like sit and like do their activity that or the exercise that they
The
give,
processes,
the
yeah.
process. But I think that's a really interesting like way to kind of play out in your imagination different potentials is
Yes.
by imagining different versions of yourself, which is what they say. Obviously, we already do
Yes.
this
We do it, like, so quickly and automatically,
quick.
we're not so what they're doing is
We're not even
actually
aware.
slowing it down and bringing the process into consciousness so we could
Yes,
utilize it in a conscious way if we choose to.
exactly. Becoming aware of what we are doing so instantly, and then deciding
Yeah.
which version we want to go with.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that whole kind of concept is amazing and cool, and I'm excited to explore that more. I haven't really yet.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm just gonna say really quick, like, if, you're anyone's listening and they're curious what we're
yeah,
talking about,
good
let
idea.
the communion of light talks a lot about a particular process called versioning, and it's where you sort of you do project you connect with, or they say conjure versions of yourself who are in various phases of the having of your desire. They could be in the unfolding phase, they could be in the actual having phase, they could be even past the having phase where they're reporting back on how it unfolded. And
Hmm.
so it's sort of like um when you allow yourself to feel the feeling you think you would have in the having of your desire, like
Yes,
in terms of Abraham speak, let yourself feel that feeling now before it manifests. And then you're becoming essentially a vibrational match to that which you desire. So versioning is like a process, a way of becoming a vibrational match, feeling into the having of what you're wanting like it's here already, and really
yes,
feeling the emotion of that.
and being and allowing and being honest with what that feels like.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you heard, like, one of the callers had like a question, and she was saying that she was imagining different versions of herself, either owning a cafe or being a librarian.
Coffee shop. Yeah, with
Yes.
books in it. Yes.
Yes, and she felt into the librarian, and
And it
because the
was like,
concept
no.
was, like, fun, but then when she actually went into the version and actually imagined herself as that, it was a no, it was a what they were calling a
Yes.
red light, like
Yes,
stoplight,
exactly.
right? And then the coffee shop also kind of had once she really had that version play out, she realized, "Oh, that's actually not something I would wanna do either."
Yeah, it
So
was like a few more versions of there were a few green
yes.
lights, but as she played it out even further, it became like, no, actually, like, yeah, it sounds like fun for this and this and this, but actually, it's not really like something that I
I
want to
don't
take
wanna
my
own.
version
Yeah.
one into. Yeah,
Yes. So it's just, yeah, anyways, it's a cool process that I think can be really helpful when you are choosing between different options or potentials that you want to play out and see what you do want to decide, move forward with. Um,
absolutely.
so I thought that was really cool, but I just like, reading that chapter last night, the
Hmm.
little, sample
Chapter
you
5.
just read,
Hmm.
um, it just was this moment of clarity of like how simple it is,
Hmm.
that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna decide
Hmm. Hmm.
that is something I've desired
Hmm.
for a long time, and so it is.
Hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know, I just felt this expansion. Like in that moment, I just felt like clarity, expansion,
Hmm.
and just like simplicity around it,
Mm-hmm.
where it just, and the freedom I felt was due to the point of like, oh, it's already done. Now
Mm-hmm.
I get to have fun
Yeah.
seeing, feeling into my guidance
Mm-hmm.
of allowing it to come to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, I love, it's fun to like, I've been listening to Sarah Landon and the council for a long time. It's fun to bring
Mm-hmm.
another channel in that
Mm-hmm.
has a little slightly different verbiage and language, but of course, all the concepts are probably, you feel the same with Abraham, right? That like the concepts are the same, but they're just saying them
Yeah.
in different ways and expanding on these different, you know, like law of attraction, expanding on it in a different way that is just helping expand my awareness and my
Yeah.
understanding.
The thing that related to what you just said, and the thing that I'm getting, at least initially, from this body of work, the way that they say things and their teaching, is a greater sense of awareness that I'm creating absolutely everything.
Yes.
It feels, for whatever reason, I still felt sort of at the whim at times of the universe. And it's like your guides are here and source and your inner being. And I remember somebody saying to me a couple months ago, like, I don't really like to think of them as separate from me. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. You don't have to. But like that just occurred to me just the other day that I'm actually not thinking of that as separate from me anymore.
Yes.
And even in some of my private discussions and probably through the samples that I've listened to, I'm being awakened to even more that even the people outside of me are my creations.
Yes.
And that bigger than like, when it was with just Abraham, I would think my vibration is going to summon a different response from a person. And we talked extensively about how I did release resistance and attachment and expand and experience like very different versions of Thomas than I had when we first started dating. And so I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that it has become untrue. But now it feels like even more so, like he's not Thomas and I'm Stephanie
Yeah. I'm
in some
smiling because
way,
I'm like, yes, yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's my movie.
Yes.
You're not even really separate from me, like and again, I can decide what sort of character I want you all to be.
Yep.
And a lot of what they offer in their teachings is like, you set people up this way. Like you thought this would be really beneficial for you at a certain time to set someone up as like the reminder to you
Yes.
that you wanted in some cases, like you set them up as police officers to
Yes.
keep you in check, and like you
Yes.
did that very specifically, and so you might have various players in your life where it feels like they're keeping track of you, and you did that for yourself because you thought you needed to do that. But
Yep.
now you can have this like new awareness that you might not want that sort of relationship or interaction with these people. And that one specifically, like I've been like, oh yeah, like I kind of used to, I my ex, I felt like he was like this adversarial sort of guy who would keep reminding me to go out and go hiking and go climbing and eat better. And I felt sort of like it was happening at me. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of set him up to be this guy who kept me fit because I thought I needed to be incredibly active and eat really well and blah, blah, blah to maintain my body and my physical fitness and my strength and whatever. And so I set him up that way. But then
Mm.
eventually I was like, I'm done with this. And so it was him that I got rid of and not the dynamic.
Yeah.
And like, I even had a big today where it felt like somebody was coming at me, and I recognized, like, it's not that they are. This is happening for me. This reflection is happening for me for my expansion. I'm creating it. And I don't have to push the condition or the person out of my life to make it go away or to make it change. It's my vibration. It's me. It's my agreements. It's my decisions. It's my expectations. It's what I'm wanting. It's my intentions that will change the conditions around me.
I just feel I just feel like this is such like a big unlock. Like it's something, and I think we've talked about this in one regard or another of like how when we and I this is what I coach people on, right? It's never about the other person. Like it's always about you. It's always you, because everybody is reflecting back to you what your own beliefs, your own thoughts. So like I understand. Are you hearing that?
I just turned on my fan. I don't know if you can hear that.
But... No, but did you hear my alert from WhatsApp?
Nope.
Oh, okay, great. I heard it, but apparently it's not. Okay, cool. Anyway.
It's going into your headphone. Yeah. So I can't hear what's going into your headphone. I can just hear what's going into your mic.
That makes a lot of sense, Steph.
It's great to have them separate.
Yeah. Let me explain to you how this works.
Well, that's why we can't not wear headphones actually, because then the noise would come out of our computers and the microphone would be picking it up.
Yes.
So actually the microphones aren't even set up so that we have to have like like an input and an output.
Yes. Sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
I figured that out when I couldn't hear you and it wasn't coming through my computer. I was like, what's going on? It would like reverberate. It'd be like, wow, 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 wow. It'd be like echo forever.
Okay. Well, we can totally cut out this whole little part about us.
Unless someone wants to learn about this. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. Now we're going to be teaching how to podcast.
Season 2.
8 episodes in and we're ready to be teachers. Yeah, season 2. Okay.
How to make a podcast.
Okay, I have no idea what I was going to say. Oh, huge unlock. Okay. I know. Let me breathe. Let me come back into what we were talking about. And this is what we have talked about in the past about how, everything is a reflection about us, and what I really help people, coach them through is how, taking control of their own thoughts, beliefs, actions, and that then naturally everything around them shapeshifts to match that.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. I know that to be true. I've seen it countless amount of times now through, my coaches, but that is that like, but how I feel like I still have room to, and of course there's always more, even for you.
Yes.
So I just feel like I'm even more so expanding on this like concept, and my awareness is growing around this. Even as you're talking, I'm like, wow, like this is just, if we can really, really understand that. Whoa.
Yeah. I feel like there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to take it a step further, but it's the thing that's coming to my mind. So I'm going to, because I'm contemplating this and I'm like, how? I said that to them in a session. Every time we're saying them, we're talking about the communion of light. I said to them, I know that this person's just a mirror of reflection of me. And they interrupted me and said, no, no, no. anything you think is a mirror is not a mirror. It's not a reflection. Okay.
Okay.
And I was like, what is it then?
Yeah,
What are you talking
I'm
about?
dying. I'm like, so what did they say?
So what did they say? Okay, so this is why I said I don't know if I want to expand this, because I don't, there's like this.
Wait, this is great. This is great content right here.
It's our creation. It's
Okay.
not a mirror reflecting us. It's a creation that we've created with our intentions and our expectations.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
In some regard, they're giving us information back as to what we are expecting and creating actively with our intending, consciously or unconsciously.
Yep.
But it's not like they're a reflection of us. They're our creations. Like, I don't, that's the thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, I can't go.
Wait, can I? Okay, so
go.
this relates to something the council said, Sarah Landon, the council said that has always kind of blown my mind. And I haven't been able to quite completely grasp. You know, it's something where I'm like,
that's what I'm saying, where I'm like,
yeah, I get it, but whoa, you know, like I still don't get it kind of thing. But it's okay. What they've said is, what if, like heaven on earth, what if everybody is already in heaven or on earth and waiting for you?
Oh, chills.
And it's the same concept of, if they are just our expectations and our projections, like, I don't know if that's the word that is the proper word to use, but like, if there are what we have, our beliefs and our intentions, do you think projections would be a proper word?
That's actually something that they said to me. You're projecting this onto us.
Yes.
And it's like a screen,
an image,
you're
like
projecting it onto. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was like coming through as like the imagery of like, okay, we're projecting this out into our reality.
Yes.
And creating this reality, to go back to the word creating, right? And what if instead we projected out that everybody is already in heaven on earth?
Yeah.
That there's no one that's separate and in lack or in a lower consciousness than me. And, you know, like some of these thoughts that, you know, I sometimes have.
I'm writing something down.
What are you writing? What are you writing? I want to know.
I'm writing, you are the creator of your reality.
Yeah. Well, and that's just truth.
And the center of your universe.
I am so glad we have and will continue to have these conversations, because I do feel like I'm not quite there yet.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like I'm reaching and grasping, but like not quite there. But with these conversations, each time I feel my awareness expanding.
It's like when you become aware of a desire or an expanded version of yourself, and it doesn't quite feel real because you're not quite a vibrational match to it yet. It's like that.
It is exactly.
It's like a concept, you know,
which is also a cool thing.
Let's get on our glasses and really.
Because
now
that I think about it, okay, I'm going. What like how I relate this to my own experience right now is how I've always had a desire to be a parent.
Okay.
To be a mother. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's like a desire that, I mean, I remember when I was like 5 years old, like wanting to take care of a baby, you know, like I always had this desire. So that was like super clear to me. But to just go on like what you're saying about vibrational match.
Yes.
There has been this like process of unfolding for me that like I am becoming that
Mm-hmm.
vibrational match. And like I can even see like in the last couple years, it's like, oh, okay, then that happened where then I felt more ready. And then that happened where I
Yes.
felt more, just more of it.
Yes.
More of it being like, oh, I can
Already.
almost touch it.
Yes. It's like, it is not that you're becoming it anymore, but you are it.
Yes.
You are a mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is wild because it feels like, I'm 38
Mm-hmm.
and that's considered, on the older side to have a
Mm-hmm.
child.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, like, as I reflect back, it's been unfolding perfectly
Mm-hmm.
for my desire.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just kind of blowing my mind right now. Like how the how we don't even know that it's we're not even sometimes consciously aware that it's all unfolding. Like we are in the process of becoming.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's always happening either way.
Yes. And so it's like really, I think what's kind of hitting me right now is really being in the place of trusting of like, have always had this desire.
Mm.
My soul has known that, my heart knows it. There's no wavering in that. And then my life has been unfolding
Mm.
to create that desire
And
exactly when it's meant to happen.
yeah, like the timing and the readiness of it and the matching of it.
Yes. And like I think with this focus and intention and clarity that we're gaining of understanding how to unlock this stuff. And I also just think this is the energy that's on the planet right now is supporting this stuff happening faster. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
like
not something I knew
you might
before.
just decide, like, it's kind of like the home in the countryside. Like this is sort of what's coming to me.
Yeah.
Is like you may have decided in the past that you weren't quite ready yet. And
Yes.
it might look like it just hasn't come
Yes.
because whatever. But it's like, I imagine that when you decide you're okay, I'm ready to be a mother, it will
It will just happen.
it will
Boom.
happen. Yes. Immaculate conception.
Well, and I think this goes back to, yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Virgin Mary. It will happen again.
Boom.
Just call me Mary. This goes back to versioning though. Like
Yes.
that whole exercise of if I really, because it's true, like if I really went into that, like playing out the version,
Yes.
I would tell you that it just wasn't time yet. I
Yes.
wasn't fully like it. I wasn't fully ready and wanting that now.
There are versions of you currently existing simultaneously right now who have a child.
Yes. Like the
Probably
multiverse.
multiple versions of you who have a child.
Hmm.
And that your number one version, as they refer to it, your number one version, this Robin that I'm speaking to right now, doesn't have her child just yet.
Hmm. Does it
But it
like
is, yeah.
it's a mind fuck a little bit,
I know. The things I keep writing down are like potential titles. And now I'm like, there's a version of me who, or there's a version of you who, dot, dot, dot. And that's all.
Ooh, I like that. Enticing. Learn more by listening.
There's a version of you who has a child. There are many versions of you. There's a version of me who has a child.
Yes. Yep.
I remember when I was like 20, 28 that it was like I decided that there was a version of me that was going to have children. And then I chose my number one version to be the one who wasn't going to have children. I remember that. It was like very significant juncture in my life. And it's funny because I was at the time with a partner, that partner who would remind me to go hiking and eat well, who we were on the trajectory of having children. And it felt like we were still in the version where we were going to be together forever. Like that, that he was my life partner. But I also at the time decided I didn't want children. And I didn't make a big deal about it, like with him, because I think that's really important. He wants to have children.
Yeah.
But we're not together anymore. And what's really interesting is that the two partners that I've matched up with since that time, the first one, he basically had me sign an agreement that like if I got basically like if I got pregnant that I would abort it because he didn't want children, because he was like 50 and just didn't want children. And
damn, writing in blood.
I mean, it was almost to the point where he was like, I won't have sex with you if you don't agree to this. Fuck. Sort of thing. And I was like, okay, well, let me consider that. and then my next partner, which is Thomas, is like, no, I don't want children. My creation, both of them, my creation,
yes,
set up to be in alignment with my decision to not have children.
Yes. Yes. Your desire to not have children.
So I created them and matched with that desire that they also shared.
Yeah. It's so wild because we're like raised with this belief that we're all separate.
Oh yeah.
We have this like really deep beliefs and thoughts around separation. And what we're talking about right now is like blowing that out of the water. And I think that's the version of myself that's still having a hard time completely grasping it.
Yeah, like the version of humanity that is already on heaven on earth.
Yes.
Like when I think about humans on a large scale, I sort of do a brief inventory into the creations I've created of humans. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're not awful in like a general sense. Like they're not awful, but I could definitely create something that feels better. And I'm totally aware of that.
Yes.
And I've been slightly dipping my toes into that awareness of like, what's this general projection that I put out of the general human?
Yes.
General group of people. And what's the general vibe that you get from them?
Yeah.
It could be improved for sure. It could feel better.
No,
but I didn't know that I could choose that. I just didn't know I could choose that.
Yeah, you thought it was just happening to you.
Exactly. I thought it was just happening to me, and I really didn't think that it was possible that I could choose what I'm, I guess, matching with, like not reflecting but matching with. And in any if you think like everybody in the world is like the best actor and can play any role.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Like what role am I assigning people?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Specifically and in general.
Yes. Like, and how those roles that you are, you have others playing, they're playing it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Academy Award
Absolutely.
winners, as the
Yes.
council says, like the council uses this whole concept as well of like
Oh, how cool.
movies. Yeah. And like everyone there, you know, you're the lead actress or actor of your movie. You're the
Yes.
producer, you're the director.
You're
The writer. You're
the writer. Yes.
Yeah. And then these actors are coming in and playing it perfectly. You're playing it perfectly.
Yes.
You're getting an Academy Oscar Award for, you know, whatever role that you have deemed them to play.
And yourself.
And yourself. And it's like, and we have the power to choose.
Yeah.
And decide.
We're writing the script.
We're writing the script. I feel like this is like something I really want to marinate on.
It's marinating. It's already
marinating.
in the process.
Yeah. Like we're
swimming. Yes. We're just swimming in this, what do you call the fluid that's in?
I don't know. It sounds gross to me.
Like
that's already a no for me, dog.
Well, we're caterpillars.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
How about that? We're in the state where it's total mush. Yeah, because you know they're caterpillars. They go into the cocoon. They become nothing before they turn into butterflies.
I didn't know they became nothing. I thought they grew into butterflies.
They turn into like slime and mush. So they go back into like the elements before they turn into the new thing.
How cool that we created that in our world. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what an incredible metaphor.
Exactly. Like, what better thing to reflect? Oh, reflect. I was just going to say reflect, but project. A potential that's possible for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's cool. I love this because there is someone like a past kind of, I was going to say like lover, but you know, like someone I've been a bit entangled with for
romantic interest.
Yeah. For some years now. And I do have some judgment around how he shows up. And the choices he makes for his life. And I really don't want to like play that role or him play, or, you know, like I don't want to, that's not the movie I want to write. So it's just interesting. I feel like I want to kind of play around with this concept with that.
Did we talk about the sharpening your axe thing? Oh, I feel like what a great time to bring that in, because it's reminding me also of like some things that Thomas does that I judge as like, ew.
Yeah, like, ew, stop. That's enough.
And one of the ideas that I've heard them talk about is that all of the people that we particularly connect with, you know, there's a lot of people on this planet, but we don't connect with every single one of them. And the ones that, you know, we get closest to and that we get matches to, while we're humans, while we're in the human suit, when we're in our body, we have an agenda that we do not have when we're out of the body.
Yes.
It's just what, like, that's sort of the difference almost, is like when you're in the body, there's an agenda. And when you're out of the body, there isn't. It's just unconditional love. It's just light. It's just frequency. And I have this like side note about how they talk extensively about how you're not your body. And I've obviously heard that so many times, but like I'm getting it on a bigger level. So anyway, that's a side note.
Yeah. But that's another episode, because I'm ready to dive into that.
I know. Or just in 5 minutes. But okay, so we are interacting with various humans, and we all have our agendas. And as we're let's just say we're projecting and creating and interacting with the humans that we're sharpening our own point. And they literally provide this like imagery of us being like a point of light in space, and
Okay.
everything is around, like say we're the sun and we're like this point of light, and we're the sun, and that's what
Yeah.
our universe looks like. And it's getting sharper through the contrast, through the relationships, through the project, through all of these
Mm-hmm.
things. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting even more clear on our personal agenda, what we've come here for. And
Mm.
like I was just thinking about that with this romantic interest, and also because what you were saying was like felt really familiar to like some things I think about Thomas. I was like, it's just getting me super clear on what I do want.
Yes.
And like, yeah, I know we've heard this before, contrast creates
Exactly.
clarity, but
Yes.
I don't know why it feels different
Yes,
and
it
more
does.
expanded.
It does. It
It's like,
really does. And
and
it
we're
feels like a reminder.
well, yeah.
Like I feel like what you just said, like yeah. And how you just said it just sparked like a remembering in me
Mm.
of like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
That's how it's happening for me.
we're creating it for us,
Yes.
on our behalf, to our benefit,
Yes.
for the sharpening of our axe,
Oh, so good.
for greater clarity.
Yes. Okay, that like I have chills because that goes back to like what this podcast is all about, right? Is it's happening for you? Like what does that mean? It's happening for you. It is for the continued expansion of love, of
Yes.
clarity,
Yes.
of experiences, but like
Yes.
expanding our like it's happens for us for our clarity.
Well, and that goes back to what you started with your thing about like about your loving the thing about our desires are us expanding unconditional love, because as we sharpen our
Ah,
clarity of our desires, we're expanding the universe and
yes.
unconditional love. Right? Who knew that we could
Who
bring
knew?
it around?
Who knew? Wow. Wow. Well, we knew because we created this.
We did. We're so fucking brilliant.
I know. It is like, it hurts sometimes. Oh, it's so good.
I gotta tell you, I'm just noticing that I'm now sitting on a chair that spins, and
Yeah.
I love it. I am like,
Yeah.
this is so nice. I sit
I
with my hands under my legs, and
Oh, that's
I'm just
nice.
like rocking.
In movement.
It feels so good.
Oh my gosh, so much better than this like a stationary like stool or chair.
And I didn't even really know that I had that desire, but like when I sat in Vegas, I had the computer and my microphone on the edge of my dresser, and I
Yes.
sat in a hard wooden and metal chair. And
Oh, funny.
it was just like a chair, part of the, dining room set that I told Michelle,
Yes.
like, I'm just going to borrow this and I'll put it back when I leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just had that chair in my room for 3 or 4 months or something. But
Wow.
now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, did I
This
create
is
this? Did I make
yes.
Alyssa buy these chairs? Because I've got this beautiful countertop and this like desk, which serves as our eating area. And I've got,
Wait, so this
go on.
feels related to
Yeah.
how when we get to this place, then we have everything we want or need before we even know we want or need it.
Mm,
So it's like something that maybe you didn't even really register as like wanting, right? This
mm,
swivel
chair.
chair.
Yeah.
But here you are, and you're like, I really love this. I
Yes.
want it. I want this. I wanted this. I didn't realize it.
Yes.
But man, like this is how it happens.
This is how it happens. I asked a question on the versioning unfolding call today, actually.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear it.
Question number 22. Does it hurt me to talk about not having what I want?
Good one.
That's not how I asked that at all, but that's how they interpreted it, which I found that to be that's the answer I got to the question I didn't realize I was asking.
Oh, how funny.
Because I was like, is it a good idea to wake up every morning and do these processes where we think about the thing we don't feel like we're having yet? Like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. And they were like, well, you're already in that state of feeling like you're not having it. And we're just helping you unravel that. And you don't have to show up to these calls if you don't want to. And I was like, okay.
Okay, bye, Frank. No. Click. Okay.
No, I was like actually a little bit like, oh, I felt like I had done something wrong, even though I didn't do anything wrong. I was just like, oh, I had to like go back to sleep after that.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I know. I love these like channel call or like when you ask like like I've asked questions to the council, but their answers are always very direct, and where then I feel like, I did, like,
was I ready to hear that? Or like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's like that kind of like student teacher.
Yep.
Kind of feeling a little bit.
That's exactly. I feel like I got in trouble this morning. I literally wrote that down in my notebook. Oh my gosh, I feel like I was scolded. Funny. That's how I was feeling afterwards.
Yeah.
But it was me.
Yeah.
And also it made me think about like, if we're creating those sort of relationships, like we've created teachers to be the one who keep us in check and remind us when we're doing things right and when we're doing things wrong.
Yes.
And basically what their response was to my question was like, I know I said that they said you're already in the vibration of the not having of it. But what they also said was, like, there's no wrong way to do it, basically.
Yeah.
Like you're basically thinking that there's a way that you can mess this up. But everything's
said that.
Always
I've heard them say that. Yeah.
The only problem here is in your thinking that there's a problem here.
Yes. The council has said exactly that too.
And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I know. So it's like,
yeah,
I know. It's such a mind fuck. Okay, I do gotta go. But
I know.
The thing that's really fun, because like I have all my things packed.
Yay!
Just gonna pop my mic in it. So fun!
Twinsies!
It's so good. Twinsies! So I can't wait to record from Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
So fun.
Yay.
Right? And I feel like that's just going to be a fun energy. Oh, I'm so ready.
Yes.
Bring me there.
Enjoy all your walking in the cow fields.
Yes. Moo. Thanks for listening. You can visit us at www.itshappeningforyou.com for more information about upcoming episodes and previous episodes, and just learn more about us. Here we go.
And a 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a welcome to right?
It's happening. I thought we'll start from the beginning. It's Happening For You podcast with Robin Meharry
and Stephanie Lentini, the podcast about mastering the creation process and living a life of extraordinary possibilities.
Join us as we just talk every week and chat and share.
And have way too much fun. We love you.
We love you.
Thank you for being here with us.
And the beat drops.
And the beat drops.